A very good morning, students. In the last class, we were discussing about the morphological features of earthworm, and today we'll be concentrating on the anatomical part of earthworm. In this anatomical part, we are going to discuss from the outer segment of the body, that is from the body wall, and sequentially we are just entering into the earthworm's body. And in detail we are going to discuss about the organ systems like digestive system, circulatory system, excretory system, then reproductive system. All these systems we are going to discuss in detail. So we will start with the anatomy of earthworm. So the first one what we will study is the body wall. So this is the first structure or the part that we are going to study from the body wall till the end. What are the things, what are the parts are there that we will discuss now. So in the body wall, this is the structure of the body wall. Simultaneously I'll draw the diagram also for you to understand. This diagram is not there in the book, but still the outer part of this is called as cuticles. So the body wall outer part consists of cuticles. So this one is called as cuticles. So I'll write it here. It is called the cuticles. Now the cuticles are a delicate non-cellular membrane. So here it is, they are non-cellular. In the sense they do not have the cellular content. So they are non-cellular. And they are secreted by an underlying epidermis. So this kind of cuticles are secreted by the underlying epidermis. Okay, so this is about the cuticles. And second, we will have another structure that is called as the epidermis. So here one more structure that you will have it inside, and this structure here, it is covering the entire worm. So this structure is called as epidermis. Okay, so this one is called epidermis. So now here the epidermis, the second structure. So first one, it is the cuticles, and the second one is the epidermis. Okay, so now where this epidermis is, it is just beneath the cuticles. So below the cuticle, beneath cuticles, the epidermis is present. That is number one. And it is a single layer. How the cells are, it is arranged in a form of a single layers, and it is made up of columnar epithelial cells. Okay, and this consists of numerous cells. So the cells are, the first cell is the supporting cells, and the second one, it is having some glandular cells for cocoon formation, for fertilization, and it has some basal cells, and finally it has the sensory cells or the receptors along with the setae. So all these are acetal cells. Setae is actually we are talking about cell, so we will call it as setal cells for secretion of the setas. So these are all the cells that is arranged in the epidermis. Clear? So body wall, when you talk, we have talked about the cuticle, which is the outermost layer, and they are non-cellular, and that is secreted by this underlying epidermis. The epidermis only will secrete that cuticle. And the second layer is called epidermis, where you can find it just below this cuticle, and it is a single layer, you can find it. And how the cells are, it is columnar epithelium, and it consists of different cells like supporting cells, glandular cells, basal cells, sensory, and the setal cells. Okay, so this is the second part of these cells. And the third one, we will find some muscles inside. There are two types of muscles you will find it. One muscle is like this, it's entirely covering. Okay, so this muscle is called the circular muscles, and one more muscle that you will find it beneath that, and this is a muscle here like this. So this is called the longitudinal muscles. Longitudinal muscle. There are two muscles are there. One is called the circular muscle, another one is the longitudinal muscles. So the circular muscles are present outside and the longitudinal muscles are present inside. Clear? So this is, so first we talked about the cuticle and epidermis, circular muscle and the longitudinal muscles. Now another important layer. So here you in the center you will have the body cavity. This is called the coelom. Okay, this is the coelom, body cavity. So body cavity is present between the alimentary canal as well. So inside this only we will have this alimentary canal. And this entire area, all these areas are called the body cavities. So the body cavity will be between the body wall and the alimentary canal. Clear? Now this body cavity or coelom, it is as two layers. One layer is present outside here. This is one layer present here, and this layer is called, as I write it here, and the layer which is present there is called the parietal peritoneum. Okay, so this layer is called parietal peritoneum, and this layer which is just close by this cavity here, so in between only cavity is there. So this layer, it is called as inner layer. So that one is called the visceral peritoneum. Okay, so there are two peritoneums are there. One is upper part on the out part of this coelom, that is called parietal peritoneum. One is on the inner part, that is called visceral peritoneum. So there are two peritoneums are there. Understand? So in between only you got this cavity, and this cavity only will secrete certain fluids, and that fluids we will talk about. So we are studying about the body walls. The body wall we were discussing about this cuticles as well as epidermis and the muscles, circular and longitudinal muscles, and a cavity that is present between two things, and that cavity is called the body cavity or the coelom. So this body cavity is present between two things. This outermost part, it is called this parietal peritoneum, and inner it is having the visceral peritoneum. So this coelom is present between this parietal as well as the visceral layers. Clear? So between this you have this. Now what are all this role of this coelom or body cavity? It secretes certain fluid called coelomic fluid. Coelomic fluid, and this fluid will be communicating to the outer part. This is the earthworm, and here it has certain pores. So all these are having certain pores, and these pores are called the dorsal pores. You remember yesterday we talked about these pores which is present from the 10th segment onwards, dorsal pores. So in between you have got this cavity. This is the alimentary canal. So these are the cavities. So here you find this fluid called coelomic fluid, and this fluid will be communicating towards outside the earthworm through the pore called dorsal pore, and thus the earthworm body surface is kept moist. Okay, so now this coelomic fluid consists of water, it consists of proteins as well as certain little salt will be there. Okay, next one, it is also having, it is slightly alkaline secretions. Okay, this fluid is called slightly alkaline, and it consists of certain cells inside, and these cells are phagocytotic cells. Phagocytes. See, phagocytes means it is involving in removing of the microorganisms, engulfing microorganisms, destroying microorganisms. So that is called phagocytic cells. And second one, it has some cells called circular cells, but this function we don't know till now. We are not sure about this function, circular cells. Now it is having one more cell that is very important. That cell is called chlorogogen cells, and this chlorogogen cells are present. It is also called as yellow cell, and the very important role of this chlorogogen cell is it involves in excretions. Actually, earthworm will have nephridia pores for excretion of the nitrogenous waste, but these cells are present on the body wall as well as in the coelomic fluid, and that helps for excretion of the waste product like carbon dioxide. Okay, so that is the role of this chlorogogen cells. So this is what the actual first topic in the anatomical part. So in the anatomical part, before studying about the internal organs, so where these internal organs are now, all the internal organs are kept inside this cavity. Okay, so that is what from the, so if this is an internal layers, the internal organ, everything is surrounded by certain layers. The first layer is called cuticle, then we have epidermis, then we have circular muscle, longitudinal muscle, then we have parietal peritoneum, visceral peritoneum. In between that we have got some cavity, and inside the visceral peritoneum you got these organs. Clear? So that is the reason, my dear, we just discussed about this body wall. Now we will talk about the detailed study regarding this digestive system of this earthworm. So we have to study all this. In today's class we will discuss two important organ system. One is called the digestive system and respiratory system. The next we will do it on tomorrow's class. Clear? So we are going to discuss about the digestive system of earthworm. A very important question and topic that we are discussing now, that is the digestive system. Now, when we talk about the digestive system of earthworm, the digestive system is well developed. Why it is well developed? Because it has a well developed alimentary canal. It is having a well developed alimentary canal. Okay, so that is number one. And the digestive system is tubular. The digestive system is tubular. It's a tube-like structures. So now I will just draw the diagram and then I will explain to you. So we have the earthworm's digestive system. So I'll just do it a rough diagram for explanations of this. A part I will do it and next part I will just continue it. Right. So now the earthworm digestive system, we are talking about each segments. Okay. So now this segment is the first segment. This is the first segment of the earthworm. Before this first segment, you will have a structure, this structure. And that structure is called as prostomium. Okay, prostomium is a structure which is present in front of the mouth. So where can you find this prostomium? It is in front of the mouth. It is present in front of the mouth. So this is first one. Clear? Right. And the second part, you will have it in the first segment. So this is the first segment. In the first segment, we have the mouth. So this is the first one. The second one, the mouth is also called as peristomium. And this peristomium is called as mouth. And where the mouth starts, actually the mouth starts from first segment. The mouth is situated in the first segment. Is that clear? Right. And after that, you got the buccal cavity, and the buccal cavity will start from here and just goes like this. So this is called the buccal cavity, and this buccal cavity is the third one. So here we have the buccal cavity, and the buccal cavity will be starting from first segment to third segment. That means it from the mouth, we have the first segment. From the mouth onwards, we have a continuation of this buccal cavity. So buccal cavity is from first segment to third segment. Okay. Then we have another segment here. So it goes around like this further. So this is from first segment to third segment. And then we have another structure here. And this structure here, it is on the third to fourth segment. So this structure is called as pharynx. Pharynx means throat. Pharynx. And this pharynx is present on third and fourth segment. Okay. Right. So we got the buccal cavity and we got the pharynx. So for you to understand it clearly, I just do this. So this is the pharynx. Okay. So this is the pharynx. Okay. So the next one, the pharynx close by. Here we have structures like this. This structure. And this structure here, it is from the, it is actually close by the pharynx. And it is third to fourth pharynx. But here we got one more gland here close by. So that gland is called salivary gland. And where the salivary gland, it is less close by this structure called pharynx. And this salivary gland secretes two things. One is it secretes mucin. And this mucin is for lubrication. Lubrication means for easily swallowing purpose, a kind of a oily substance, a lubrication is formed. And second one, it also produces some proteolytic enzymes for destruction or for the digestion of the proteins. So it is called proteolytic enzymes. Is that clear? Right. And then it has a structure which goes beyond like this, and this structure is called esophagus. So it is from 5th segment to 8th segment. So the next structure is called the esophagus, and this is from 5th segment to 8th segment. Okay. Now in your book we will have only, in our book we will have only 5th segment. If you talk about the NCERT, it is 5th to 8th segment. Why this difference is, we are talking about the Indian, especially the lambitum or these structures that is present in Tamil Nadu. But in NCERT they have discussed about the another type of species. That is the reason it is varying, but still the average is 5th segment. So the esophagus from 5th to 8th segment. And then we have one more structure here, and the structure below this esophagus, you have this structure like this, and this structure, it is 8th to 9th, actually from 5 to 8 you got esophagus, 8 to 9, but here in our syllabus we have discussed about 5th segment is the esophagus, then means next segment starts by 6th. 6th is the gizzard. Gizzard, a very important structure, the gizzard. So in NCERT we will have from 8th to 9th segment the gizzard is. But in our state board syllabus we have 6th segment, because 5 only it is there for esophagus. So now this gizzard, the node, it is a highly muscular, it is a muscular stomach like structure, muscular, and where the food will be grinded in this gizzard, and some certain soil particles are grounded in this. So that is what the role of the gizzard is. Clear? So that is gizzard. And next one, so we complete up to 8th to 9th segment here. So that means the next segment, that is the stomach. The stomach will be from 9th to 14th segment. After gizzard we have stomach, and the stomach is from 9th to, because we are completing 9, and 9th, 8 to 9 we have gizzard, and the 9th to 14th segment is the stomach. Okay, in stomach also we have got an enzyme called proteolytic enzyme for digestion. So there are two places we have proteolytic enzyme. One is in the saliva, another one is in the stomach. Clear? Right. But here in our board syllabus we have gizzard in 6, and stomach part is not discussed because stomach thing alone it is not mentioned there. But they have intestine, but the intestine starts in 7th segment because we ended up 6th segment. So intestine start from 7th. That is what given in our state board. But when we discuss on NCERT, the intestine will be starting from the 15th to end segment because we are completing up to 14th segment. Okay, don't get confused. Whatever there in the in your state board book, that alone you discuss it. That alone you write it. So now after gizzard we got the stomach, and then we have intestines. Clear? So this intestine part. So the intestine part, it is the worm actually it ends up to that. Okay. So now we have got the first segment. Before first segment we got prostomium, then peristomium, then third 1 to 3 we have buccal cavity, then 3 to 4 pharynx, close by that we have salivary gland, and then we have got 5th to 8th esophagus, 6th one is gizzard, and but here it is actually 8 to 9 is a gizzard, and stomach 9 to 14th segment. From 14th segment onwards we got this intestine. So intestine starts from 14 till end of this segment we got this intestine. Okay, it is a wider, always this is stomach. So stomach is always a narrow and intestine is little wider. Okay, so always intestine is wider than the stomach. So don't forget it, that is very important. Clear? Right. So next one, the last segment that we will talk, and then one more part that we will discuss in the center. The last segment actually it is like this, and this is called the anus. The last segment is the anus. Now in the anus is the last segment that we understand, but in this last segment we got some undigested food will be present. Okay, so this undigested food and all will be there in this anus, and this undigested food will called as worm casting. The undigested food is called worm casting, or otherwise it is called as vermicompost, and this vermicompost will fertile the soil. If we use this worm compost or worm casting, it is used for fertilizing the soil. Understand? So this is what the digestive system of earthworm. One thing that we have to discuss in between. So this intestine just goes down and it is coming up to anus, but here one more structure is added. So this structure just goes up and comes down, and here also the structure alone we will just discuss now. Okay, right. Now you can find the structure which is just different from this intestine, and this is around some 25th to 26th segment, and this is what the it is called as intestinal cecum. This intestinal cecum, they secrete an enzyme called amylase enzyme, and the amylase enzyme is involving in digestion of the carbohydrate or starch. Okay, so digestion of this enzyme. And you can find one more structure just close by this cecum, and I will draw that one little enlargement. So this structure will be looking like this. So this is the structure, and the cut structure, it is on the 26th segment, and this from the 26th segment till end it is present, except the segment number 20 and 23 we will not have this segment, and this segment is called diplosole. The segment is called diplosole, and this diplosole will always involve in increasing the absorption purpose. It will always involve in increases absorption from the intestine. Okay, so that is what the entire digestive system. Now once again this diagram part we will see it clear. Now the diagram alone we will just discuss now. So we got a tip, and this is just front of the mouth, and this structure is called prostomium. Okay, and then we got first segment, and the first segment we got, it is having mouth, and the mouth is called peristomium. Okay, and from the mouth we got a structure which is entering inside, and this structure is called the buccal cavity. Okay, and the buccal cavity is from first segment to third segment. And then we got pharynx. So this is what the pharynx is. Pharynx means throat. It is from the third to fourth segment. So sequence we are seeing first segment and first to third segment and third to fourth segment. Okay, so simultaneously what we have side by, we got this salivary gland. So this is the salivary gland. Okay, that is an extra that we have seen close by. And then we got the another structure that is goes in deep like this. So now we got the structure, and this structure is called the esophagus, and the esophagus starts from 5th segment to 8th segment. In board we got only 5th segment. And then we got another structure like this, and this structure is called the gizzard, and the gizzard from 8th segment to 9th segment, highly muscularized, where grinding is taking place. Clear? And then we have again a narrow kind of a thing, structure, and this is what the stomach, that is from 9th segment to 14th segment we got the stomach. Okay, so sequence you can remember the segments also. That is the reason I'm just doing it again, right? And next one, from here we got some wider than the stomach, and that is the intestine. So all these are intestine. It is from the 14th segment onwards the intestine starts till the end, and the end of the structure we have got the anus. So the anus, the earthworm ends like this, and this part is called this anus. So anus we have a earthworm, it is an end part where the undigested food will be located. Clear? So now in between it is having and one more additional segment like this. This additional segment, it is on 25th, 26th segment, and these segments are called as actually up to 14 segment stomach. So that means intestine will begin from 15 segment onwards. Okay, then 25th and 26th segment we have got the intestinal cecum. Intestinal cecum will be there, and this is for secretion of an enzyme called amylase. And then it is having the another structures like this close by, and this is on the 26th segment, and this is called as tiplosole. And the tiplosole is always involved in increasing the absorptions area. So this is what the entire digestive system of the earthworm. And the next one is the respiratory system of earthworm. Now, in the respiratory system, actually there is no special organs like, no special organs. That means there is no lungs and there is no gills. Okay, so no special organs. So how it is taking place? Only through the body wall. Only through the body wall. The body wall is kept moist, and the body wall, the outer skin layer is richly supplied with, the body wall it is having the skin, and the skin is highly supplied or richly supplied with blood capillaries. Okay, it is supplied, and through this process a diffusion process will take place. Diffusion, and this diffusion is helping for exchange of gases. So now the skin is always kept moist for respiration purpose, moist, and this moist is because of two things already we have discussed. One is due to the fluid called coelomic fluid, and the second one is the mucus. So because of this the skin is kept moist. So that's all regarding the respiratory system. So respiratory system we don't have much thing to discuss. The body wall, because of the skin it is kept moist, there are blood vessels are there, blood capillaries are there, so diffusion takes place. Okay, so today's class we have discussed about the body wall along with the respiratory system. Then we also discussed about the digestive system of earthworm. In tomorrow's class we will be discussing about the circulatory system, the excretory system and the nervous system. And with that we will just complete this earthworm, and reproduction next week we will just start. Okay, right. So thank you.